Okay. So here is the thing, the theme and the name that you guys are already aware of. Industry 4, why and how for Indian manufacturing right now. It's there since last 5 6 years. People are talking a lot about it, and there is actually a time for all of us to use this, in a streamlined manner and get the benefits out of it. So how do we do that? We are just going to talk about it. Okay. Again, the same thing, the agenda. Why do we need this? Why is this the right time? Important guidelines as such for selection. Overall presentation is going to be on the guidelines. How should we be looking at the problems? Case studies and a platform demo quickly. Uh, so my introduction. This is Amod, I'm the founder CEO of Qrera Technologies. I studied in Zurich, in ETH Zurich. I did my master's in robotics. Uh, then I was working as a research assistant at Indian Institute of Science for 4.5 years, and undergo built some interesting machines for material handling systems, and also worked in the micro and nano fabrication to build some small, interesting devices. And I will also be juggling between my presentation because few people are coming now. So please bear with me. Yeah. Okay. I've done that. Cool. Uh, Now, what is Qrera? Qrera is basically it's a, I would say it's a philosophical name. It has derived from all these three variables. Um, One is, I hope you all are able to see my screen, right? Uh, can I get a feedback quickly saying yes on the chat?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, great. So the Qrera stands for quality at the origin, resolution on the y-axis, and range on the x-axis. So resolution meaning we are investing a lot in research and development, and range meaning we want to do a real business, solving the real problems of the market and providing some interesting solutions, which are going to benefit to the users. So this is the whole purpose and the philosophy, and we understand that there haven't been big sort of connection between these two axes as such. Say IITs are there, IICs there is Reliance, there is Tata, and but what Western companies do is try to bring these two together and build something practical. So this is what we are trying to do as a company. Okay. Fine. So this is my favorite thing, the golden circle for technology. Of course, it's inspired from the Simon Sinek's golden circle, which he talks about how companies should be, propagating, and where they should really find their why. So this is what I try to apply to most of the things, be it education, be it our learning, or be it application of anything. So in this, what I'm trying to say is we should really understand the problem at the why we want to use this technology, what is the problem that we are trying to solve. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And how are we going to solve, how are we going to apply this technology, how are we going to apply these techniques, and what we all know about IoT is mostly like, it's as good as internet, it's as simple as internet. It is trying to get all the information, all the necessary and required information, sometimes unnecessary, and a lot of junk information also to your desk and or your phone, and then you try to understand what is happening and why it is happening without you actually going to any of your machines, any of your things, or any of your objects, which are going to be much more intelligent because of they're having a lot of sensors and a lot of data with them, and they're just intelligent enough to communicate now. So we need to understand why and how. This is the whole purpose of this talk and the webinar. Okay, fine. So again, I'll be talking a bit abstract, then I'll zoom into a real problem, and then we go to a solution. This is what I would want to do that, because then we just don't want to, say that there is a solution. This is these are the features, and this is how it works. That's not the point. So really, the point is to get through the whole thinking process. So efficiency and the speed of information. This is something that we have always underestimated. To go back in 19 late 80s, when Andy Grew, the former CEO and the chairman of Intel, they were really trying to understand how this whole Japanese culture is so much efficient, and how what are they actually doing to be so efficient and beat the American companies out of the competition. So after a lot of, of course, investigation and, things, they had realized that they have a simple culture of a round table sitting. When there was no internet, there were no emails. All these managers, all these engineers used to sit all together on a round table, and that way they could reduce the passage of information, the time that they have spent on passing the information from one department to another, one person to another, and one engineer to another, to a minimal level. Like maybe it's like as if we are talking, and what is the speed of information travel. So this is what the fundamental thing that they figured out, that they kind of get the grip on the whole technology and the whole efficiency just by solving something simple. And these are the points that we have always missed. And of course, once they figured out, but immediately after that, maybe emails came. And the way Andy Grew talked about emails is like one email can go to, hundreds of people within 1 second, and one email can, go thousands of kilometers within 1 second or less than that. And this is how the technology can leverage, can give you the unprecedented advantage of the of efficiency. So this is what, these are the points we have. So we directly started using emails, and we most of us use that email mostly to, make sure that we don't get into any trouble. So it's like more of a legal proof than, saving the time. So this is how we looked at the emails, this is how we looked at the technology. But their view, before even emails were invented, they wanted to save the time in the communication. And these are the points that we really have to get into now. Okay, so this is the efficiency and the speed of information. It has a chance to give you the leverage of 10 times, 15 times, 100 times. And this is where the whole game changes. Now, another example of Indian system, inefficiency and the speed of information. So this is, I've read somewhere it on Quora, from a very experienced and retired IAS officers. So before the whole digitization of the government processes happened, so what they try to understand where is the whole, link which deals the thing. So there are, so of course they found out that decision makers, they do take a longer time, but there is something, even terrible. That's like the person who transfers the files physically, person who takes the file from one department to another department, from another department to one more department, and to ministries and whatever. So they've understood that if this person decides to take the file not this week, the next week, not the next week, not the third week, and the project cost is like thousands of crores, you understand, one person taking say 2 or 3 weeks extra, and there are like 10 or 15 people in between. So what could be the cost of this project, by just because somebody doesn't want to transfer the information, or is not interested in transferring at that point of time, because he doesn't think that it's important. So the cost of that thing is really huge. And we I mean, this is something that we have not really figured out. Or I mean, if now with the whole digitization, whole this new approach, and what government are trying to do, yeah, we see the results. With your Jandan accounts, or with Aadhaar number and all that, all the money hits directly to your bank account. That's the beauty of digitization. Okay, fine. I think somebody is waiting. 1 minute. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, cool. Uh, okay. Yeah. So I'll go to the next point. Uh, yeah. So today's basic argument of our manufacturing industry is, there is this whole thing that, we have to be vocal for local. We have to do something in the house. We have to be like self-dependent and all that. But the biggest argument that what we see today is, we don't have the advantage of mass scale manufacturing. How can we compete? I think I think that's a bit lame argument, because Toyota did not have the mass scale manufacturing advantage compared to Ford and GM, and they still managed to sell something at way lower cost than the Americans to America, manufactured in Japan, paying higher wages to the laborers. So they have done something incredible, and of course people are aware of Toyota production systems. I'm not going to get deep into what they did, why did, how they did it, but we need to understand the basic philosophy, not in terms of tools, in terms of thinking. How they understood the problem, or how they approached the problem. Okay, so quickly. So what Toyota did was, they used operational excellence as their strategic tool. This is what we are saying. See, we are technically quite good. We can solve very critical problems. But where we are lacking is in our operational problems, and the operational problems are coming with lot many other issues, mostly with the information and communication and so many other things. That's what we will be trying, we'll try to address in how. So what they did, simple things. I'm not going into the details of their Kanban, just in time, and Pokayoke and 5S. These are all like tools. But the thinking philosophy is order received and the cash received. What is the time that you spend in between? How much how much delays you have in each and every process, and why would be those delays, and how can you resolve those delays? So this is something that, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, so this slide itself is like a very simple thing, but this is where the whole crux lies. And point is, we could also add few more departments, marketing and sales, in that, so that we see the entire business process. But that is the topic, or that is something that we will discuss maybe in the next webinar. So right now, our problem is to look into the operations, which is this order received and the cash received problem. Okay, fine. Uh, till now, everything is good. Is everybody able to hear me? Just say it on chat if there is any problem. I assume that you guys are able to hear me. Okay, uh, fine. So the next thing, uh, operational excellence is not a rocket science for us. All our businesses, all our conventional businesses, apart from engineering businesses, are quite well versed with all this idea. If you just take the simple example of a tea maker, and what is the transaction time and what is the velocity of the cash and all that, it just takes 4 to 5 minutes. Now imagine that, say our business is like a tea business, but then we take time to understand what is the temperature of the stove, what is, so these are all small tiny parameters of the processes, which we as an engineer or as an engineering company, we try to dig in too much, but we really miss on the bigger picture. And this is what is actually happening. Now, what is the problem? Where is the problem? Where is the problem? I've already mentioned it in my couple of slides before. The problem is in the flow of information. So there are three C's of information we call. One is collecting the information, one is converting the information, and one is communicating that information in a specific manner, or in a right format. So what we do is we ask our engineers, we ask our managers, we ask all these highly skilled and very intelligent and smart people to just go and collect things, the information, process it, make the Excel sheets and send it to us. And it takes a lot of time, and a lot of unnecessary actions are happening. And as soon as the person comes into picture, there is a good chance of manipulation of the information. So these are like really really big problems as such. For to to justify this problem, the example is, if you want to have a data of what happened to your production systems yesterday, or what was the result in last 1 week, or what was in 1 month. So you need to ask somebody, somebody goes, fetches the files, he brings, or he or she brings in the information, showing that, okay, this is what has happened, there is this printout and all that. And that too, if the person changes, format changes, there's so many issues. There is lack of standardization, there is a lack of communication, there is, you know and it becomes a lot of burden for these people to deal with all these things. And then they forget their main job of engineers and the managers and the general managers is to anticipate the situations, to be as efficient as possible, not just in terms of cost. The cost of the material is no more dominant in our business. The cost of the people and the cost of the time is way more dominant. And if we understand the cost of people is dominant, then we understand this whole business of information transfer is so expensive, and it is adding to insane amount of inefficiency. Okay, fine. Okay, again, problem in terms of in numbers. So what is happening? Our customer is pushing us to get a lower cost. Our competition is making us, go as slim as possible on our profits. And at the same time, our operating costs are increasing. Our operating costs are increasing minimum 10% per year, minimum 10%, your hikes and everything. So with all these things, we are struggling to find the profits of 5 to 10%. We are negotiating with the customers, for weeks, just to adjust 5 or 10%. But we are just not understanding that there is a lot of room at the bottom, which is 20 to 50%, or it could be even more. I'll show you some examples which we have really seen in the market. So, if we just try to deal with the material cost, if we just try to negotiate and waste our time, we are missing on to the bigger opportunity, which is 20 to 50%. So what we are saying is there is a plenty of profit at the bottom. We just need to look into our operations and solve the problems. Okay. Uh, so the real example of operational problems, there was this one of the company. Of course, there is no need to take the name. It was we put our system there, and you could see that these people are running 24/7 their operations for last many years, and this is their normal operation. When we showed them this data, they're like, no, no, no. If we show all this data to our top management, will be in deep trouble, and we don't. We think that whatever is happening is correct, and but you understand that they can actually work in only one shift. They can do all the compress all the work in one shift, and still they will have enough time to do something else or something better. So this is like double or triple the cost probably they are charging to their customers. And so these are the problems which are inflating from all the sides in our system, especially in manufacturing and engineering, and which is making us so cost incompetent or non-competitive compared to the other nations. And if we don't solve these problems, we will never be able to uh, innovate. We will never be able to competitive, and we will not be able to sustain in the market. So and this is a real data. We were surprised that they didn't want to implement this system just because they saw such horrible problems. And they didn't want to, probably they just didn't want to take a decision. And these are another psychological or some other problems that our management has, and we need to get rid of these problems. Okay, again, in the same company, another machine, you see the lot of idle time. Now there could be argument that they don't have enough material, the supply was not good. Okay, so these are the problems that managers and the general manager should be solving, not that they should be making these reports. They just should just look at these reports, take a call, and solve every problem which is creating this problem. Like, okay, why is my operator not getting material to process on the right time, at the right time? It is not just the operators problem, it is majority the management's problem. Our operators are not doing that bad, but our cost of management, if you take the salaries of the people and the amount of work that they do in terms of anticipation and in terms of solving the real big problems, it is absolutely negligible. We can see that here. Your operator, you next day you shout, look at it, this data, you shout at him, he is going to perform way better. The management has to take the bigger responsibility, and this whole system IoT is going to reveal or become make it transparent to everybody. Okay, so now the quick thing, the same technology IoT all over the world, there are different approaches, there are different problems. Every country has a different problem, different approach. We shouldn't be just blindly following what West is saying or what Western problems are. We have absolutely different issues. So when Germans coined this term Industry 4.0 in 2012, and every Industry 4.0, and everybody's like madly running behind this buzzword. Okay, let's do something Industry 4.0 and make some cool automation. And surprisingly, I've even seen in tier ones, the departments who are leading I4 initiatives are from the maintenance department. I'm not saying maintenance departments are not right departments. I'm just saying that because Germans or the Western world said that it is for health monitoring, it is for predictive maintenance, and so many other predictions which related to the maintenance department. So they thought, okay, let's maintenance department do that. But before even maintenance comes into picture, we need to understand that we have way different scale problem, way different magnitude problem, which is our utilization. If we are utilizing machines less than 50%, less than 50% in this case, what is the point in predicting the maintenance? What is the point in conditioning, monitoring, and all that? It's just that our people are into trouble, our management is not working efficiently. So these are the problems, they need to be addressed first. So this is what I call machine utilization. Paperless operations, the moment we come with paper and pen, it takes longer time for us to communicate, right? There are a lot of manipulations, so many things happen. Energy optimization is another problem. We spend a lot of energy, we are not able to understand how much are we spending, and how can we save on that. And increasing after all doing all these things, our operations efficiency is going to get increased by 20 to 30% for sure. You can actually measure it. What Western world says that health monitoring, predictive maintenance, auto scheduling, they're really putting artificial intelligence and some smart algorithms to manage line balancing and all that. But I think we are not yet there. We should be solving the problem bottom up. How can we apply? Quickly, I have 5 to 6 minutes. I'll try to quickly run through it, and then we can have question and answer. So, specific problem on the floor: manual information recording. People write the information, flow and speed of information, and lack of deeper insights. Even if we have all the data in the Excel, we find it difficult, and we spend a lot of time in making the sense out of that data. So again, machine utilization, operator performance, writing, report writing and authenticity, delay in communication. Okay, so what Qrera has come up with, it is a simple solution. This Qpulse is a device which fits to any machine. Another thing is if operator has to communicate, there is a small device called Q button, which he just has to press the button and communicate to the platform. So what happens is production, maintenance, quality, and planning. Everything comes together. It makes the reports real time. There are alerts, insights, and ultimately you see, increase in efficiency in terms of either you reduce your wastage of time, you increase your efficiency output, you reduce your travel to your factories, and so many other aspects. It is just adds a lot of advantages and faster decisions, definitely, because right exactly which machine is not working for longer time, exactly which operator is creating the problem, or where is the problem, which we used to spend a lot of time in understanding this when the IoTs were, this information system was not there. Okay, what is our value proposition? There is this lot of live monitoring, machine utilization, operator performance, call planning, quality maintenance. All these things are coming together. You get alerts every minute if your machine is achieving the idle time. What was your yesterday's performance? Uh, how much was your overall? 1 minute. Running out of time. Okay. Yeah, so this is what our value proposition is. We can discuss about this product, this system in detail. If you guys have interest, just send me a text, send me a WhatsApp message or an email. We will get back to you and we can have one-on-one call. Okay. Okay. So the case study one, in the case study one, so there is this one of our client who you install their first device on a compressor. This 25 kilowatt compressor consumes almost 2,500 rupees to 3,000 rupees a day. And when they installed this, and then they started, literally seeing on weekends if compressor is getting turned off or not. And you can see the results. They have saved almost 10 to 14% on energy cost in the compressor just by understanding if it was turned off or not. If somebody forgets to turn it off, they spend 3,000 rupees on weekend, and if it's a longer weekend or something, then they're like 6,000, 7,000. So every weekend if you save 3,000, you're going to save at least 1.5 1 lakh 5,000. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, I will go to the next case study. Another case study. This is just they installed this system for monitoring. Earlier, you can see around 1st of July last year, they were somewhere around 10 to 12, and this was the norm. This is how the output used to be. But suddenly, once everybody started realizing that we can have more capacity, operators realize that they are getting monitored. You see their average increased by 2 times to 2.5 times. They are somewhere between averages between 25 to 30, and their actual capacity they can run up to 65, of course. And they cannot run every day at 65 because there may not be that much of a work, but there is a capacity, and they have moved from 10 to average of 30, 25. So this is the beauty of having the right information. Okay. Another one of a client who saw after installing these things that that their machine is working, but they have a extra capacity in that machine, which is idle time, which is like 50% occupancy, and they wanted to increase that occupancy. So they took a decision of buying a bar feeder. Of course, that cost them something, but that by that they have increased the occupancy of the machine by 50%. So they have gone from 50% to 75% of the occupation of that machine, and the cost of the bar feeder has come out. But it was doing all these things before this system. They were running this system maybe for 3 years, 4 years, and we were wasting 25% of the time every day. Similar example, when people are monitoring 25, 30 machines at a time, their overall performance or OE has improved by 10 to 12%, and there are a lot of other benefits. But so these are the big numbers. Yeah. So this is my last slide. So what this is what I say: in tough times, its efficiency leads; in good times, the productivity does. So last 2 3 months, we are at home. We all trying to be efficient. We are not doing unnecessary expenditure. We are doing all this eating good food and yoga and all that. This is being efficient. This is what companies need to do right now. If there is less of a work, and as soon as the work is going to peak, all these practices are going to help in terms of increasing the productivity. We suddenly cannot jump onto a productivity problem. We need to be really efficient in the beginning. So what I call is like, from the Indian manufacturing point of view, we have a great chance to first be efficient, be super competent in the market, in the international market, and just enjoy the great profits by being efficient and productive. Okay, yeah. So I'm done with my talk. It's exactly 30 minutes, 32 minutes I took. You people can reach us at sales@qrera.in on our website. On my phone number, I've shared in my email, and or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Medium, LinkedIn, and YouTube. YouTube, we keep posting a lot of videos. Um, and yeah, so I'm done with my talk. Thank you for your attention, and I am ready to have the questions. You can text me on WhatsApp, or you can just text me on the chat here. But we will have like 9 minutes to do that. Thank you. Hello. Uh, okay, I can see some chat. Fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm waiting for your questions, and if there is anything that you want to discuss. Now, if independently, if you could turn on your mics and you know and ask me questions, that's also fine.
Hi Amod, this is Abhay here. I have a question.
Yes, Abhay.
Yeah. So you said that when Toyota sold their products to locals in inexpensive products to them, right?
To the Western world, to the US. Yes,
The
absolutely.
Western world, yes.
Yeah.
So coming from a service-based, company, the question that I have is like I have uh, you know I have my company basically provides inexpensive solutions to the customers. So my question comes like this, that if now the economic crisis is happening and there are a lot of things getting very expensive to invest on and then come up with our products. So here becomes so there is a crunch that at the input is very expensive, like you have to buy the raw material which is expensive, and you have to provide the product which is very inexpensive. So there becomes a kind of a, so I have to do something in between, which where because of which I am able to manage with the expensive raw material and still provide the
Yeah,
inexpensive
yeah,
solution. So how do I do
exactly.
that?
I agree. I understood your question. So this is what I'm trying to say. See, the material
Yeah.
costs, maybe this could be a surge for next 1 month, that these costs are up and we are not able to fit into the budget. It could be an exceptional case for next 1 or 2 months, but it's not going to be constant. The cost of the raw materials is going to normalize soon. I'm not sure how much it
Okay.
has gone up, and the whole point is, if the speed, the time, if we are able to have a lot of orders, you can definitely go back and bargain. So that's the point. How well are we able to pull from the sales and marketing side? Then only we will be able to justify this whole cost. And the material cost, even if it goes up, if you are able to save your time a lot, I think that's going to balance it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So anybody else has any other question? Anurag has a question. Yes, please. Yes, Anurag sir. Please turn on your mic and
Hello.
हाँ sir. Yes.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I have a question related to automation.
Yeah.
So I serve in an automation industry.
Yeah.
So I currently I'm working on an uh, automation project for XY.
Got it.
Yes. So how my question is, how can I apply artificial intelligence to my system?
Sir, I feel artificial intelligence application is not required unless your customer really needs it and he's willing to pay for it. So these are like the basic things that we have learned over last 5 years, that we don't have to be in the awe for technology unnecessarily. Customer is really not expecting it. We should just be able to give something that is really really valuable, that is really solving their problem. If without AI, if you are able to solve his problem or her problem, and if she's or he's really willing to pay whatever the amount that it costs, and gets you a decent profit, then there is no point in infusing some technology just for the sake of it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We have still 5 minutes to you know if there is anything that anybody wants to ask. Okay. Okay, I'll be around for 4 minutes. If you guys are done, and if you have some other things, you feel free to leave. And if there are any questions, I'm here. If I'm not here, you can send me still text messages, call me, or